Welcome to the Cook the Books podcast by Tea with Coffee Media. I'm Tyler Witkowski, the president and publisher of Tea with Coffee Media.
And I'm Kelsey Ann Lovelady, the vice president of marketing.
Back in 2021, we took our experience as independent authors and used it to create a publishing company with our friends. Our mission is to help other indie authors reach more and greater success.
This podcast is dedicated to helping authors find the perfect recipe to create their books and their persona as an author. We talk about everything from plotting to character creation to marketing to using your life experiences to create your unique voice and stories.
Welcome to the show. Hey everyone, it's Tyler Witkowski, the president and publisher for Tea with Coffee Media, joined by
Kelsey Ann Lovelady, the vice president of marketing.
And we're back for the last episode of season 1 of the Cook the Books podcast. We have had such an amazing season 1. Our first episode was a hit. We're still seeing views on it every single day. Everything is going up. We're so excited for the way things have been kicked off, and it's all because of you, the listeners and the viewers. You are keeping us going, and you are making this worth it because we know we're reaching the right people. We are able to touch the lives of fellow writers, and that's what we started this podcast for, right, Kelsey?
Exactly. That's exactly what our mission has always been. And this is amazing. We've done an entire season. Can you believe that?
Yeah, and the best part about it is this was our first season, so it's a little bit shorter. We're gonna double our episodes next season. So instead of 5 episodes, we're gonna have 10. So be prepared. We've got it scheduled out. We're gonna get our guests lined up. Speaking of guests, we've got a very exciting guest who is not part of Tea with Coffee Media. But I'm not going to spoil that. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But anyway, Kelsey, how are you doing?
Chugging along. I picked an interesting day to go to the grocery store. As you know, I got up, I got dressed, I got into the car, I drove to the grocery store, realized I'd forgotten my bags because in Colorado now, they charge you 10 cents for every plastic bag, so you save money by bringing your own bags. I think it's a good law. Yeah. I'm all for helping the planet. So I run back home, I grab my bags, I drive back, and right as I'm walking into the store, these 2 guys walk out and they just start brawling in the street in front of the store.
Ooh.
Yeah. Crowd started to gather. People were like informing the staff inside. People were starting to call the police. It was a thing. And then, of course, one weird dude came up to me and was like, "You're not a man. You wouldn't understand."
I'm a man, and I don't freaking understand. Like, what's the point in fighting?
Yeah.
Especially as a grown adult, Yeah, I used to get in fights as a kid, like whenever I was 13, 14 years old, but you eventually have to grow up and kind of. But yeah.
Well, at one point, one of them picked up like an empty Coke can that was just laying there in the street, and looked like he was trying to bludgeon the guy with it.
Oh shit!
Yeah, like, first of all, if that's your first instinct, there's a bigger problem here, and second of all, what do you think an empty Coke can is gonna do?
Yeah.
There are people who will absolutely collapse an empty Coke can against their head.
Yeah, and it sounds like if the guy's fighting, he may be one of those guys that would do it for fun. Mm-hmm. His name was probably Kyle.
One of them was definitely named Kyle, and I feel like the other one was named Chad or something.
Chad or Steve.
Yeah, maybe a Chase.
Ooh, Chase. Actually, I have a friend named Chase. He's actually a really good guy.
Okay.
Anyway, so as you know, we just got back 2 days ago from our extended vacation. Well, not really a vacation because we still worked our normal hours at our day job and for the company itself. But the great thing is we were able to go out in the RV, work remotely, see family, and we got a taste of the RV lifestyle. And the best part is we loved it. I was so revitalized. I felt so good. And now we're getting closer. We've had some showings, and hopefully we get some interest on the house. And before we know it, we get the money in and we're able to travel full time. And that's the ultimate goal, is to travel full time and be able to take Tea with Coffee Media on the road. um you know and we're getting closer to it.
We're moving on up to the
Moving on out.
east side. We finally got a piece of the pie.
Hell yeah. All right, Kelsey, you want to I'm gonna let you bring up our hot topic for the day.
Well, it should come as no surprise to everybody that we're talking about this, because everybody and their mother has been talking about it for the last week. The TikTok ban. I'm going to assume that everybody knows what this is about. Congress is trying to develop a new act where TikTok would ultimately either have to sell its shares within its company, the Chinese shareholders and the CEO would have to sell their American shares in the company, or TikTok will be banned across the US. And the reason why this matters specifically to us, and specifically to Tea with Coffee Media, to publishers, to authors, is because there's an entire community on TikTok that is dedicated to authors finding their audiences, readers talking about books that they love to read. Hell, even the past couple of times that we've had to talk about authors who are doing really kind of unsavory shit, people use Book Talk to warn other people about those authors. It's a really strong community, and it's a really necessary community. I've never seen the book community, the reading community, the writing community thrive on any other form of social media as they have thrived on TikTok. There was something about how TikTok works that just was the perfect laying ground for Book Talk. And if it's banned in the United States, that's a big problem for a lot of people.
Yeah, and going off of your point about how pivotal TikTok has been to not only Book Talk and writers and readers alike, but also to Tea with Coffee Media, we just signed a new contracted editor, Sarah Sanders, and we met her through TikTok. She
Yes.
actually posted a TikTok looking for more editing gigs. Kelsey sent it to me. I reached out to Sarah, and Sarah sent us editing samples, and they were great. We had an interview with her. She was an amazing person. Her TikTok was how she came across. I mean, and we were able to bring her on, and so we helped her, and she's helping us. And that's the great thing about TikTok. A lot of people say, oh, well, all that's on there are naked children. Okay, well, maybe you should look at what you've been looking at, pal, because the algorithm works towards your interests. And, so a lot of what I see is astrology shit. And, I used to see a lot of grilling stuff actually, but I got out of that. And then I'm on landscaping TikTok.
Ooh.
So yeah, so it's really actually relaxing to lay in bed and watch somebody like weed eat and mow the grass and make designs in the grass. It's really, really relaxing. It's just the sound of the lawnmower is kind of soothing. I don't know. That's just me, maybe. But TikTok is amazing for a variety of reasons. And I think, you know, the government does a lot of things. I am I'm an independent when it comes to politics. And I think most of our company is independent because they realize that both political parties have a hidden agenda. And while yes, they probably do support one party or the other, that's not the point. We can all agree that both political parties make oversteps towards regulations. And I think this is one of those ways that the GOP is making that overstep into, and they seem to make more oversteps when they claim to be more about freedom. The conservative slogan is all about freedom, but they do things like this to ban TikTok, and they do things, um, gosh, there's so much I want to say, but I'm trying not to get political with it.
And unfortunately, that's the sad thing with this situation is you kind of have to get political about it because they're making it political.
Yeah. And and I think one good thing that has come out of this the TikTok hearings, memes. We've had some pretty good memes, and I'm excited to incorporate some of them into our TikToks.
I think I sent you one earlier today.
Yes, and I'm going.
We have to use it. We have to do it. Yes, that one right there. It must be ours.
Already on my radar. I don't know how. So, for those of you who don't know, Kelsey used to be our vice president of publishing, and I was the president handling a little bit of everything: publishing duties, operation duties, marketing duty. I was the only marketer. So I came to Kelsey and asked her to help me with TikTok. So Kelsey started helping me with TikTok, and then I asked her to help me with more social media, and then she eventually became vice president of publishing, and I took over publishing duties, and we figured out, a good system. Well, now lately, because I found this brand new app called CapCut, not a sponsor, by the way, but if you want to be a sponsor, we'll let you. I guess.
Yeah. To be sponsored by CapCut, I would.
Yeah. That's probably better than an orgasm, if I'd have to say so myself.
I mean, look, it's brand new to you. I've known about it for a while. I wish I had told you about it because I thought you knew about it.
No.
But no, it's a great editing app. And what's interesting about it is people will sometimes post what they make and post on TikTok, also on Instagram.
Yes.
And they're not doing well. And somebody finally talked to an Instagram rep to be like, what is going on? And Instagram is like, if it has the CapCut or TikTok logo, we're not going to push it for the algorithm. We want you to use our video editor. And Instagram's video editor sucks.
Yes, it does.
And CapCut is so amazing. I use it to make the TikToks about this podcast to show people what we're like, and I can do captions, and I can make it so that people can follow along with the captions for the hearing impaired and the deaf. It's so much fun. It's such a great app. I love that app.
Can we make sure that some of this conversation goes into our next TikTok segment, because I want CapCut to see this, and I want them to see that I said that them sponsoring us would be better than an orgasm.
Yes, let's get their attention.
Yes. So TikTok it. You've heard it here first. It used to be Instagram it, now it's TikTok it. We're TikToking it.
We are not cheap whores. We will only sponsor things that we believe in.
And we believe in CapCut.
CapCut, please be daddy, please.
Innocent until proven guilty, and they have not been proven guilty for anything. So, TikTok, I mean, just this banning of TikTok would be so detrimental for our community. I think, it really adds to, there's a lot of publishing companies, there's a lot of authors who have found success because of their purchases from BookTok. There's a lot of, it has been so successful because of various reasons, but it's attracted a new audience to books as well. And it's opened up a new possibility. I think all social media, when done appropriately, and by appropriately, I mean with the correct security procedures set up, some of the other platforms that we're thinking about here.
Metaverse!
Yeah. So we just want to make sure that everybody has a platform and has a way to express themselves, because there's nothing really like TikTok out there. I mean, we used to have Vine, but if TikTok goes away, somebody's got to replace it. But are they going to? Is anybody, when's somebody going to be able to replace it? Think about how long between Vine and TikTok we had to wait. I mean, we experience these losses, and it's detrimental to the writing community and the reading community, and we've got to come together and take a stand to protect this community that we've built.
Yeah. See, I used to be very active on Tumblr, not so much from the blogging standpoint. I would occasionally, but not very much. But I loved the content that was on there. And then came the dark times. And yes, Tumblr had good reason for changing the way that they did. But when it became, we don't want to see female presenting nipple while neo-Nazi blogs were still allowed to be maintained, that's where I was out. And as the change came down the pike, everybody was panicking about, like, where are we going to go? And a lot of people came forward and say, oh, this is being in beta, this is coming up, this is the new Tumblr. To this day, we don't have something that has replaced Tumblr in the way that it used to be. And I never use Tumblr anymore as a result. So these changes, they do affect us. They affect us on a grand scale. And, even further than just the ban of TikTok, if the Restrict Act goes further, who knows when we're going to have any freedom on social media ever again. It really is our freedom that's on the line.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And our freedom is the biggest thing that really separates us from being, from living in other countries. But that freedom is slowly slipping away from us as Americans for the minorities. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be freedom for all people. And, whether you want to believe it or not, this TikTok ban is going to affect minorities, in a much different way than it's going to affect the majority, because the straight white male is still going to have his, advantages and other platforms that he can use. But TikTok is such a pivotal creators platform that there's nothing like it for minorities to get out there and be able to celebrate who they are in a video form. TikTok's reel, or not TikTok, Instagram's reels are close, but not everybody uses it. There's not nearly as many users on Instagram as there are TikTok.
And TikTok has really become the platform of social awareness and political awareness. When I'm on Instagram, I don't see videos about the almost 500 anti-trans bills that have been introduced across the country. I don't see information about the Restrict Act. I don't see this is the stupid shit that our politicians have done. That's all on TikTok. For some reason, it can thrive there where it cannot thrive pretty much anywhere else. And that in my head, they say that this is for our own protection. I feel like they don't like TikTok because they can't control the narrative.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not like a Facebook or a Twitter where they've got control over what they do. It's there's more rights associated with it.
And it's entirely convenient that a lot of the people who are in Congress who are heading up this TikTok ban crusade happen to have traded stocks in the metaverse. So, got to make Daddy Zuckerberg happy.
Yeah. But let's take a break. let's take a minute to cool off from this conversation. We know the hot topics get a little heated sometimes, so we'll take a break. I'm gonna go grab a beer. Obviously, a Teaches Peaches, and then we're gonna bring in our guest, who I'm still not gonna reveal. I'm gonna let her reveal herself. See, I gave you a little hint. That you catch that? All right. So be sure you catch out. Wow.
Check out.
Ash Ketchum. Gotta catch 'em all. Um, anyways, check out this brand new trailer that Kelsey, our vice president of marketing, put together for us for a new YouTube ad. So be sure you let us know what you think of the ad down below in the comments, and we will be back. Hey everybody, my name is Tyler Witkowski. I am the publisher and founder of Tea with Coffee Media.
I can't believe I did this! I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I did this!
I am a 9-year Navy vet. The Navy kind of broke me in the process, so I am a disabled vet as well.
Games like The Sims or Skyrim, making my character and putting them in this world and seeing how they would traverse this stuff.
I today am signing a contract with Tea with Coffee Media.
Your friends, soon you won't have any.
What are you, a fortune cookie?
Wasn't that a beautiful trailer? Kelsey, you did such an amazing job on it.
Thank you very much.
All right, and we are back. And as we promised you before we went into the break, we have a very special guest with us today. Kelsey is meeting our guest for the first time today. I have known our guest for, I guess a little over a year now, maybe close to 2 years.
Sounds like it.
Our guest today is the lovely, the amazing Jean Loud from Creative James Media. So Jean, go ahead, introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little bit about Creative James Media and who you are.
Okay, well, hi, thank you for having me today. I'm really excited to be here. So I started Creative James Media in July of 2019, and I started it with my best friend. So we kind of run it together, Rachel and I. So I'm kind of, the CEO, and she does the COO kind of daily running of the company. So we both founded it together. We work closely together all the time. We took on a few other people as we've grown. So we have a head of marketing. Stuart Lewis is our head of marketing now. We have an acquisitions editor, and she's our editor in chief in general. So Stacy Petrowski has that role. But we're growing, and I'm very, very positive about our growth recently. We have a very ambitious schedule this year. So we publish a lot of fantasy, YA. We are really getting into LGBTQ and trans books. And that's something that's really big for us right now that we have coming out. So we're really excited about the way we're going, the authors that we're bringing on that sometimes are not always published by the big five as much as they should be. And they get overlooked, and we really want to be the ones to champion them and to get their stories and their voices out there and heard. And that's something that we really strive for as a company through those. So we really don't stray too far from the romance, the fantasy, the sci-fi. That's kind of where our wheelhouse is. We don't really get into horror as much. but we like to stay within our little wheelhouse and promote as many authors as we can that need their voices heard. So that's kind of like who we are.
Yeah, and I think that's, whenever I started the company and Kelsey, I came to Kelsey and Aaron and Victoria, who are our business partners with this idea. I was so inspired by presses like Creative James Media and Inked and Gray Publishing and Roses and Ravens. Those presses really inspired me to go out and start my own, because I was like, I saw you all the time on Twitter talking about how hard it was to have to reject these stories. And I've seen other publishers say the same thing, and I was like, well, if I can step up and be able to take in some of these authors who may not, why shouldn't I do it? And
exactly.
So I was inspired by you, but what inspired you to start your own company?
Well, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, so this is just like something that's natural in my family. You see a need, you go out and you start something. And that's just how I was raised. So I was always in, the kind of atmosphere where small businesses were always started. And they were always started when you saw a need for something. So I saw a need out there for authors who were not represented, who were not getting their stories heard. I've seen on Twitter all the time about authors that have wonderful stories, but they're overlooked by the big five, and they're not getting agents, they're not getting publishing deals, and they really should. Their stories have to be heard. The problem is that the gatekeepers that are there want a certain kind of a book, and they're not open to experimental books. They're not open to doing things a different way. We have a book that's coming out in May, and the whole book is very the way we formatted it's very artsy. So it's When Oceans Rise, comes out May 23rd, and my author actually was very instrumental in making it as artsy as it was, with her graphic design skills and things that we worked with together to really make it stand out in a way. We have text bubbles and things like that you don't always see in the big five right now. So we really were able to play with that, and that's not something that's out there. So that's another reason why I wanted to be able to do this, so I could play around with what I had as resources and things my authors had as ideas, and come up with something that's unique, something that's different, and something that deserves to be out there and heard. So that's basically why, and what inspires me every day is my authors too, because they have fabulous ideas and things that they want out there, and to be able to collaborate with them and say, okay, I'm the publisher, but I'm not the be all end all. This is a partnership. We're going to come together and we're both going to decide on something that we both like, instead of just saying, here's your cover, and they don't like it. So giving them that voice, that little bit of control that they might not get elsewhere, is also very important to me, and something that inspires me.
Yeah, that's, we're very similar in how we run, with getting author feedback and ensuring that we're raising up and it's a partnership. We're very similar in that direction. But Kelsey, what did you think whenever I came to you last year and I said, hey, do you want to start a publishing company with me?
So my thought was twofold, because at the time, Aaron, our vice president of operations, also wanted to start a publishing company. And both of you had come to me separately to say, do you want to be a part of this publishing company? Do you want to be published by this publishing company? And in my head, because I'm at the end of the day, I am lawful good. I thought to myself, in any other circumstance, this would be considered a conflict of interest. Let me pull these two into a Discord room and have a conversation with them, because I need them I need to be transparent with both of them, that I could be with both of their publishing companies. So I introduced them. This was the first time that Aaron and Tyler had met. And I was like, okay, how do you feel about if the work that I publish as Kelsey Ann Lovelady is published by Tyler, and the work that I write as Ruby Marley, which is my romance and my my spicy stuff is published by Aaron. And then Aaron went, I got a better idea. How about I just join your publishing company, because that means less work for me, but I still accomplish my goal. So that was how Aaron became the vice president of operations. And then once that had happened, my intuition just went, oh, we've got gold here. There's something to this. You know, I'm that person who has tried to monetize every single hobby that she's ever had. It often doesn't work out because it's always a lot more work and a lot more time than I ever think it's going to be. And I usually can sense when I start on an entrepreneurial project, whether or not it's going to be something that I can do in the long term and whether or not it's going to be successful. This Tea with Coffee Media, I absolutely knew was gold, and it was going to work, and it was going to be successful, and I was going to be able to thrive with this company. So once Aaron fell into place within the company, it was wonderful.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. So I know personally, what is the hardest part of being a publisher?
It's a lot of hard things.
Yes.
But I'd have to say, and this goes for self-publishers too, because I see it on Twitter every day, it's everyone who is in this industry, it's going to be marketing. Marketing is always going to be the toughest thing out there. And it's ever changing. Even the big five are not successful at marketing a lot of their authors. It's something that we have really tackled as a company. And what we've done is we've actually done something that a lot of presses I don't think do. We have, and we don't have that, we have them monthly now, but we used to have them weekly. We have workshops with our authors, and we teach them marketing from the get-go. So they know what their responsibilities are, what our responsibilities are. And it's clear. We teach them how to make newsletters. We teach them how to get subscribers, how to be on social media, because some of them are not very successful on social media, and it's not a necessity. It really isn't. But we teach them that if that's the way they want to go. And we also have our authors teach each other their secrets. But even with everything that we're doing, it's still a daily struggle. And I don't think it's ever going to be something that I want to be complacent about. It's just something that we're always going to have to learn and grow and change and try something new and see. I mean, and each book is different. Each book has to be marketed differently, because what was successful with one book will not be successful with another book. So to me, that's the most difficult thing as a publisher.
Yeah. And I would definitely agree with you that it's definitely one of the most difficult things. But for me, it's not a negative, because I'm a marketer by trade and I love marketing. So it's even though it's one of those things that's challenging, it's one of those challenges that's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle for me. And I love sitting down to do it. So it's not really something. I think my biggest challenge is just the rejections, because we get so many good books that come through and so many good manuscripts, but we have to be so picky about what we choose, because I mean, I know you understand, Jean, we're booked out through 2024, and I think
we are as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you are as well. So it's hard whenever you get so many. We were inundated with submissions whenever we were open, and we finally had to close submissions a couple months ago because we just couldn't take in anymore, and we were falling so far behind on reading because there's so many amazing stories. It breaks my heart to have to send those rejection emails. But one thing we do is we try to provide as much valuable feedback as we can, and we'll say, this is why we're turning it down, this is the good things that we saw. These are the things that we saw that needed improvement. Keep writing, keep submitting, submit to us again in the future, because we believe in you.
That is a hard part for us as well. But what's really hard for me is when it's a good one and you want to publish it, but you don't have room on the schedule. And that's the issue that I have, that I want to be able to refer them to people like you. But when you guys are all full up too, we need more presses out there that are good, that are out there for these authors, because I've had to pass up some that I would have published, but I just didn't have room on the schedule. And that's the hard part, where you really don't have anything to say that's really a critique or a revise it and resubmit. It's just, I love your book, but I don't have room for it. And that breaks my heart, because I want to be able to publish everyone. But as a business, we just can't. We have budgets. We have to stay within that budget. And it's really hard to pass up a book that you know you would like, but you just don't have room for.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Kelsey, so Gene and I have both talked about the hardest part about being a publisher. What's the hardest part about being in the actual marketing, the vice president of marketing? Yeah, you didn't think I was going to put you on the spot that fast.
Yeah, no, I didn't. So here's the thing, like, you're the one with the marketing degree, Tyler. What I became the marketer because I wanted to help you. You were trying to do everything, and you were going through, your own personal shit at the time as well. And I was like, I need to help my friend first and foremost. And I just happened to do marketing kind of well when I'm given with the right tools. Like, the hours of mindlessly scrolling on TikTok and Instagram, you pick up what the trends are, whether by purpose or by accident, and you go, that could work for this. Let me unpack this. This sound might work for this. And I really, like, if I had known marketing would be as fun as it is right now, I would have gotten my degree in it when I was in college, instead of, uselessly trying to do time steps in the musical theater department. But in terms of what the hardest part is, I think just from the standpoint of marketing is that you have to try to predict the trends, and you have to try to predict what is going to take off. And that's difficult. I can't, I claim to be able to read my friends' minds. I'm usually wrong, but I certainly can't see into the future. I try with tarot cards. We both know that, but it's just trying to predict everything. Like, is this song going to take off? Is this idea going to take off? Can I make an audio that people are going to like and want to use? And that's the difficult part, is just trying to predict the future of marketing.
Yeah, I used to I was a marketing director at a digital marketing firm locally in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I used to have this sign that I had above my desk that read, marketing isn't a magic trick. There's a science to it's a science experiment. And that's exactly what it is. It's not just you snap your fingers and it happens. It's you test things and you try out what works and what doesn't work, and you have to analyze things and build hypothesis. And that's what marketing is. It's a science. And a lot of people think that it's some kind of magic trick that you just you get good at it overnight, and that's not it. You get good at it with practice and time and learning and ability. And Kelsey, like Kelsey said, when given the right tools, it's something that anybody can do when you put your mind to it and you're able to learn. I'm a firm believer that anybody can do anything they put their mind to. And once you get down to it, being able to put your mind to something like marketing and sit down and put your nose to the grindstone, go on things like Skillshare and learn those marketing skills. I tell people all the time, I learned more about marketing from places like Skillshare and YouTube than I did from my college classes. I've learned a lot more than I'd ever did in college. And that's the thing, is people don't realize that you can and that's the amazing thing about the internet now, isn't it? Is we're able to connect to have conversations like these with the three of us who are in completely different parts of the United States, and we're able to connect and support each other in different ways now.
Exactly, and learn from each other and help each other. But that's also the challenge with marketing, with social medias, because it's a whole different way of doing it, and each platform is different.
Yeah.
So learning each platform and how to market to each platform, and that you don't have to market to all the platforms. Some of my authors think they need to have a large presence on all the platforms, and we teach them now, pick the ones where your audience is, because that's the first thing. Where's your audience? Where do they hang out? Don't worry about the outliers. Who's going to your book, love it, and shout about it? Go where they are. And that's where you build from. And they've done a tremendous job with that. I'm very proud of my authors of how they've conquered that. But we have a marketing plan that we write, that the head of marketing, Stuart, and I write together. We write the marketing plan for each book. And then we have a marketing meeting, and we have a Zoom meeting. We talk to the authors about their marketing plan. And we tell them, this is not etched in stone, because it's marketing. It's a living, breathing document. It's going to change. If we see a trend is changing, we're going to change how we market the book. If we see one way that we thought was going to work isn't working, we're not going to keep doing it. We're going to do something else. We're going to find something else to do for your book. So we want them to know that everything in marketing is going to change. Their Amazon page could change. Because we are really into Amazon ads as a company. And that's something we've really put a lot of our time and our effort behind. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Brian Cohen. I mean, he's like big on the self-publishing world, but he is who we go to. We have his ad school. We've purchased that as a company, and him and all of his people coach us on our ads. So we really look, that's marketing too. Because your Amazon page looks as marketing, what your blurb is, what your cover is, everything is part of marketing. And I don't think a lot of people realize that marketing starts when you're actually writing the book. It starts before your publishing deal. It starts when you decide who you're writing to, who's your audience. That's when it starts.
Yeah.
Oh,
a really perfect example of that was when I wrote The Lost Maidens with Destiny Swallows for the company. And it's a lesbian Viking romance that is enemies to lovers. When she pitched that idea for the first time, I went, TikTok is going to eat that shit up. We got to do it.
Exactly. And that's where it starts. And with the tropes, what tropes are you using? Are they popular tropes? Who's reading that trope? Where are they? Where do they hang out? All questions that you have to ask before you even decide, I'm going to do this video, or I'm going to do this trailer, or I'm going to do, this ad. You have to go through all of that. And we authors, how to find their audience. We do a lot of research into who reads this kind of a book. And you have to go at it that way, because that's how you reach your readers. And ultimately, as an author, you want your book to be read and you want it to be loved. So you want to get it in front of the people who are going to read it and love it. And then you hit marketing gold, because then they're going to shout about it to other people. And word of mouth is the best way to market. But you got to get those fans. I try to tell all my authors, you need super fans. Find your super fans. Don't worry about the outliers. If they buy your book, fabulous. You need super fans. And that's what we try and concentrate on from the beginning.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's the biggest thing is for us too, is supporting our authors and building them up. We do interviews before we ever bring in an author, we ever offer a contract. And during those interviews, we tell them, if you ever get an offer from one of the big five one day, and you're still published with us, let us know. We will work with you to make sure that you get the better opportunity. Our goal is to make sure that you become as successful as possible. And if that's not with us, then that's fine. But we've had some people who have turned us down because they were accepted by another company, and we've told them we've bought their book. I've personally bought that person's book once it was published by another company because I was so excited about that book and I wanted to read it again and see what the final result was. So
I think one of our authors said that they were approached by you.
Oh, really?
Rachel Corsini for Sea Lions, Sushi and Sea Lions. She said that you guys liked her pitch when she pitched it, and we liked.
Oh, okay.
And then she considered both of us, but she went with us. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No,
Yes.
don't apologize. I mean,
Yeah, no.
But she
Hey,
remembered you guys. She remembered you guys.
that's what matters. Our biggest thing is making sure that authors get signed, they get published,
And that's the thing.
we don't care if it's with us or with somebody else, or as long as the stories that need to be told and deserve to be told are out there getting told.
Exactly.
That's what matters to us. And I know, Jean, you're the same way.
Oh yeah.
Ravens and Roses and Inked and Gray Press, they're the same way.
Yep.
And there are so many other small presses out there that are the same way, but I mention you three all the time in conversations because you're the three that really inspired me to go this route, and so I
I'm glad
really
you did.
appreciate that. Yeah,
I'm really glad you did.
I think
It's nice to have like-minded publishing companies out there.
yes, very much so. And I believe that the rising tide raises all ships, and we're in this together. I think I posted the TikTok where I was wearing Creative James Media
I saw that.
sweatshirt, and
I saw that. That was
my biggest thing is, it's a family. We're all family. We should be acting like a family because that's what the writing community
Exactly.
is.
We're not in competition with each other. We're all working together toward the same goal, and that's
Right.
get as many authors published and many stories out there that need to be read as possible.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Kelsey, do you have any final questions for Jean or any final thoughts for our listeners?
none that I can think of, but Jean, I have to say it was an absolute pleasure meeting you and talking with you. And I'm so glad that you joined us today.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed it. I love meeting you guys too.
Jean, do you want to tell our listeners where they can find either you or your company or both on social media and the internet?
Well, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as Creative James Media, so you can come and look for us there. We have our website, creativejamesmedia.com. You can visit that as well. And we have a lot of our authors out there that whenever you see the hashtag CJM, that's us. And that's some of our authors out there promoting their books. We have a very, very ambitious schedule this year that of wonderful books that you guys should check out. So I'm really excited about this year and what it holds in store for us. So check it out.
And we will link all of the social media for Creative James Media and your website down below in the description for the video. So everybody will have nice and easy access to all of those. So be sure you go follow Creative James Media on all social platforms, bookmark their website, stay tuned for their books because it's going to be a big year for both Creative James Media and Tea with Coffee Media. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. Jean, thank you for joining us. Kelsey, as always, I'm glad I got to see your beautiful face. So until next time, see ya.